Heaven has already judged you, and what I'm about to say will decide your future. If you close this video now, you might miss the one message that could change everything for you: your health, your finances, your very destiny. Right now, the enemy is plotting confusion, delay, and loss in your life. But God is reaching out urgently to protect you. The next few minutes are not a coincidence. They are your divine appointment. The Lord placed this message on my heart for you. This is not a message for everyone. If you're hearing these words, it means heaven has seen your pain, your struggle, and your secret prayers. What happens in the next 10 minutes will determine whether you unlock the blessing or remain in the waiting. This is your final warning. Ignore this, and the door may close forever. Stay with me, because what I reveal in the next moments will decide if you finally receive your forgiveness, your new house, your new car, and the peace you've been praying for. Heaven has already made its decision about you. All your life, you may have wondered, am I really seen? Does heaven actually notice me? Today, I want to reveal a powerful truth. Heaven has already made its judgment about you. Long before you faced your recent challenges, before the sleepless nights and the silent tears, your name was spoken in the courts of heaven. God saw every injustice, every battle, every time you felt forgotten. He watched as the enemy tried to plant seeds of failure in your life. But listen carefully. While others may have accused you, while the enemy whispered lies about your future, heaven was already writing a different story. You are not abandoned. You are not condemned. A divine decision has been made, one that overrides every curse, every mistake, and every accusation that has ever come against you. Right now, the spiritual realm is shifting in your favor, but only those who truly listen, who truly receive this message in faith, will walk in the reward that is coming. The judgment that changed your destiny. What if I told you that, while you were sleeping, a decision was made about your life that you cannot undo, one that overrides everything you thought was possible? Listen, because this is not just another video. What I am sharing is the result of a spiritual verdict rendered in your favor. You must understand, heaven's courtroom is unlike any place on earth. There are no mistakes, no forgotten details, and no bribes. Every single moment of your life has been weighed, measured, and written down. Most people will never realize the gravity of what is happening in the spirit right now. They live day by day, wondering why things never change. But you, yes, you who are listening, are different. You are here because God Himself orchestrated this moment. You've been restless, anxious, feeling like you are on trial for things you cannot fix. But in the last hours, something has shifted. Heaven has issued a judgment that will change your destiny. Let me be clear. This judgment is not based on your failures, nor your past mistakes. This is the result of grace, of divine love that goes beyond human logic. The enemy brought accusations against you. He pointed at your shortcomings, your regrets, and tried to convince heaven to deny you your blessing. But God, in His infinite wisdom and mercy, looked beyond your history. He saw your true heart. He heard the cries you never spoke aloud, and in the heavenly court, the verdict was pronounced: you are forgiven. Yes, forgiven. Your past has been wiped clean, not by your own merit, but by the sacrifice that was made on your behalf. And because you have been forgiven, the chains that held you back are broken. This is not a theory. This is not wishful thinking. This is a spiritual reality that is about to manifest in your physical life. But here's the secret few ever discover. The blessing attached to this judgment will only be released to those who acknowledge it, accept it, and declare it boldly. The enemy fears one thing above all: believers who understand their authority, who declare their freedom, and who claim their inheritance. So right now, if you want this judgment to become real in your life, type in the comments, "I receive God's verdict. I am forgiven and free." Every time you write or declare this, you are agreeing with heaven's judgment, and the enemy loses his hold over your life. Don't just listen, participate. Heaven moves when you move in faith. The decision has been made. The blessing is waiting for you to reach out and take it. An urgent message from the Lord. Right now, while you are listening, there is a spiritual battle happening over your life. A battle you cannot see, but you can feel it. The Lord Himself has interrupted your routine to deliver an urgent message that cannot wait. This is not a coincidence. This is not by chance. This is a divine intervention. A moment orchestrated in heaven's calendar just for you. You might be sitting alone, in your car, in your living room, or perhaps lying awake at night, wondering if God truly knows what you're going through. But the truth is, He does. He sees every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt and fear. And today, He's telling you, do not fear the enemy's threats. Do not believe the lies that you are forgotten or unworthy. For too long, you have carried burdens that were never yours to bear. You have replayed the words of others, words that said you would never change, never succeed, never be happy again. But the Lord is speaking to you now, and His message is urgent. The time for your suffering is ending. The enemy's season of accusation is over. The time has come for you to step into your blessing. But understand, this message is not for everyone. It is for those who recognize the urgency, who choose faith over fear, and who dare to respond. This is why, right now, I want you to take a bold step of faith. Don't let pride or doubt hold you back. If you are ready to receive what God has prepared, type in the comments, "I accept God's urgent message for me." Every time you take action in faith, especially when you make a public declaration, you silence the voices of darkness and invite the presence of God to move in your situation. Imagine what could happen if, today, you said yes to God's message. Imagine doors opening that have been shut for years. Imagine miracles breaking out in your family, your health, your finances. It starts now with your response. The enemy would love nothing more than for you to click away, to ignore this divine interruption and go back to the same routine. But I am here as a messenger, sounding the alarm. Do not delay, do not doubt, do not turn away, because every second you delay, you give the enemy more time to sow confusion and steal your blessing. But the moment you respond in faith, the chains begin to break. The angels begin to move on your behalf. So, pause right now. This is not about a video or a voice on the internet. This is about your destiny. Type in the comments, "I accept God's urgent message for me." Make your stand. Let all of heaven and hell know where you belong. You have been absolved. The weight of guilt has fallen off. Have you ever felt a heaviness deep inside? A silent burden that you carry everywhere you go? It's that constant whisper, "You're not good enough. You've made too many mistakes." God could never forgive you for all that you've done. This heaviness is not just emotion. It is a spiritual weight that the enemy has placed on your shoulders, hoping you will never realize the truth I'm about to reveal. But listen to me. Right now, at this very moment, God is reaching into your life and lifting off every ounce of guilt and shame. The chains of your past are being shattered by the power of His forgiveness. You do not have to keep paying for mistakes that heaven has already erased. The enemy's entire strategy is to keep you trapped in regret, believing that your story is finished and that you'll never be worthy of a new beginning. But that is a lie. And today, the Lord wants you to know you have been absolved. Let those words sink in. Absolved. Not because you managed to fix everything, not because you are perfect, but because God's love is greater than every failure. When Jesus said, "It is finished," He was talking about your punishment. He was talking about every accusation that would ever be raised against you. The debt was paid. Heaven's courtroom does not issue a temporary pardon. It issues a final, eternal verdict. You are forgiven, you are clean, and the weight of your guilt has fallen away. Can you feel it? That lightness, that deep breath, that moment when you realize you are free? Maybe you don't feel it yet. Maybe you still wake up thinking of what you could have done differently, the words you wish you could take back, the years you think you wasted. But I am here to tell you, God does not see your failure when He looks at you. He sees His beloved child, washed clean, ready for a new season. But there's something you must do right now. It's not enough to hear these words. You must receive them and declare them. The enemy cannot stand when you agree with heaven's verdict. That's why, right now, I want you to type in the comments, "I am forgiven. My past is over. My new life begins today." Every time you make this declaration, you drive the enemy back. You are telling your soul, your mind, and all of heaven that you refuse to live another day under condemnation. Don't let pride keep you silent. Don't let fear hold you hostage. Write it boldly. I am forgiven. My past is over. My new life begins today. Let your faith move the hand of God. Let your courage be the key that unlocks your new beginning. There is nothing more powerful than a person who knows they are truly, completely forgiven. Your freedom starts the moment you declare it. The power of divine forgiveness in your life. Let me ask you a question that may shake the very foundation of your beliefs. What if the single reason your life has not changed is because you have never truly embraced the power of divine forgiveness? Many people hear about forgiveness every week in church or read about it in books, but very few ever experience the life-altering force of God's forgiveness for themselves. They live as prisoners, bound by invisible chains, the memory of past mistakes, the fear of being rejected by God, the constant feeling of not measuring up. Maybe you have said to yourself, "I know God forgives, but I can't forgive myself." Or perhaps you've wondered, could He really wipe away what I've done? Listen carefully. Divine forgiveness is not just a theological concept or a distant hope. It is a living, breathing power that can transform every area of your existence right now. When God forgives, He doesn't just remove your guilt. He breaks every cycle of shame, failure, and disappointment that has haunted you for decades. He wipes the slate clean, not just on paper, but in the very fabric of your destiny. He opens doors that were locked by your past. He restores relationships that seemed impossible to heal. He brings peace to places in your soul that you didn't even know were wounded. This is the reason the enemy has fought so hard to keep you stuck in the past. He knows that the moment you fully accept God's forgiveness, you become unstoppable. The accusations lose their power. The curse is broken. It doesn't matter how many times you failed, how deep the wounds go, or how hopeless your situation may seem, the blood of Jesus covers it all. But I must warn you, forgiveness is a gift that must be unwrapped. It's not enough to simply listen and nod your head. You must open your heart and allow this power to enter every dark place inside you. You must make the decision right now to step into the light of total pardon. God is not holding anything against you. Heaven's records do not show your faults. They show your faith, your repentance, your willingness to start again. Now, I want you to do something bold, something that will seal this word over your life. Type in the comments, "God's forgiveness is my new beginning. I receive it completely." Don't let shame silence your voice. When you write this, you are agreeing with the Word of God. You are drawing a line in the sand and telling the enemy that your past is not your future. You are inviting the supernatural power of forgiveness to start working in your life, your family, your finances, your health. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no shame, no regrets, no weight from yesterday. Only the pure, unshakable assurance that you are forgiven and free. This is not a fantasy. This is what happens when you embrace the full power of divine forgiveness. Right now, type, "God's forgiveness is my new beginning. I receive it completely." Let your confession break every chain. Let heaven see your faith and release what has been waiting for you all along. The enemy tried, but God intervened. You need to understand what has truly been happening behind the scenes of your life. For years, perhaps decades, there has been a war raging in the unseen realm, a war for your soul, your health, your peace, your future. The enemy has tried everything to break you, whispering lies in the night, sending storms to shake your faith, stirring up conflict in your family, and planting seeds of hopelessness in your heart. There were moments you felt so overwhelmed, so lost, that you wondered if you would ever find your way out. You might have asked yourself, why does it feel like everything is going wrong for me? Let me tell you why. Because the enemy saw your potential. He recognized the destiny inside you long before you ever did. He knew that if you discovered your true identity in God, His power over your life would be broken forever. But here's what the enemy never counted on: God's intervention. Every time the enemy launched an attack, God stood in the gap for you. When you should have been destroyed, you were protected. When you were on the brink of giving up, something kept you going. That something was not luck. It was the hand of the Almighty moving on your behalf. There are countless times you survived accidents, illnesses, betrayals, and disasters that could have ruined you. You thought it was coincidence, but it was divine intervention. Think about it. How many times did you narrowly escape disaster? How often did you feel a sudden peace in the midst of chaos? How many times did you sense a strength that was not your own, guiding you, holding you up? That was not your imagination. That was God Himself intervening, sending angels to guard you, shifting circumstances, and blocking the enemy's plans. And right now, even as you listen to these words, the same God is fighting for you. He has seen every scheme, every trap, every curse sent against you, and He has already issued a command from heaven: no weapon formed against you will prosper. You may not see the angels, you may not hear God's audible voice, but you can know for certain you are not alone. You have never been alone. God's intervention is the reason you are still standing. His love for you is fiercer than every demon in hell. The enemy is terrified of a believer who knows that God fights for them. But here's what unlocks even more victory: your declaration. You must open your mouth and declare what God has done and is doing for you, right now, in this moment. So, I want you to do something powerful. Type in the comments, "God has intervened in my life. The enemy cannot win." Every time you write or say this, you invite heaven to move even more powerfully in your situation. You tell the forces of darkness that their time is up. You align yourself with the victory that God has already given you. Do not be silent. The enemy would love for you to keep your faith hidden, to keep your victories a secret. But when you declare it openly, when you speak it in faith, the atmosphere shifts. Your words carry the authority of heaven when you stand on God's promises. Right now, break the silence. Type in the comment, "God has intervened in my life. The enemy cannot win." Let your faith be louder than your fear. Let your declaration become your weapon. As you do this, watch how God continues to intervene, shifting things in your favor, unlocking breakthroughs you never thought possible. You are not just surviving, you are entering a season of supernatural victory, because God has intervened and nothing can stop what He has planned for you. If you could see with spiritual eyes, you would realize that every single day, invisible forces are battling over your future. The enemy is relentless. He's tried to destroy your mind, steal your peace, and convince you that your story is over. He knows your weakness, your deepest fears, and the secrets you've never told anyone. He attacked you when you were at your lowest, hoping that this would be the end of your faith and your dreams. You might have felt overwhelmed by sudden sickness, unexpected losses, betrayals from those you trusted, or financial storms that threatened to take everything from you. And yet, here you are. You're still breathing, you're still fighting, you're still searching for hope. This is not an accident, it's a miracle of divine intervention. You see, the enemy's greatest mistake was thinking he could outsmart God. He planned for you to fall, to lose, to surrender. He tried to chain you to your past mistakes, to drown you in guilt and shame, to paralyze you with fear of the future. But every single time he attacked, God stepped in. Maybe you didn't recognize it at the time. Maybe you thought it was just coincidence, a lucky break, or the help of a friend. But behind every rescue, every unexpected solution, every surge of hope, it was God intervening for you. There were times when you should have lost everything: your mind, your family, your health. But God whispered, "Not today. This one belongs to me." God's love for you is fierce, unyielding, and unstoppable. When the enemy surrounded you with darkness, God lit a candle in your soul. When the devil shouted, "It's over," God replied, "It's just beginning." Every moment you nearly gave up was actually a setup for your comeback. God's intervention is often quiet, invisible, but incredibly powerful. Sometimes it's the closed door that protected you from disaster. Sometimes it's the stranger who offered help at just the right moment. Sometimes it's the inner strength you didn't know you had, or the peace that suddenly calmed your heart in the middle of chaos. Right now, I want you to pause and think. How many times has something happened in your life that cannot be explained except by the hand of God? How many accidents were avoided? How many illnesses healed? How many times did things somehow work out when they should have failed? That's not luck. That's the hand of God, fighting for you. The enemy has kept you silent about your victories, but today, that silence must end. Every time you testify, every time you declare what God has done, you increase your own faith and encourage others. Take a moment right now and type in the comments, "God has saved me more times than I can count." Share a short testimony if you can, something only God could have done for you. And don't stop there. As you think about all the times God intervened, declare it again and again. The enemy tried, but God intervened. Write it, say it, proclaim it over your life, over your family, over your future. When you write these words, you are planting seeds of faith, both in your own life and in the lives of everyone reading the comment. You are reminding yourself and the spiritual world that you serve a God who fights for His children. And the more you declare it, the weaker the enemy's grip becomes. If you are in a battle right now, if you feel surrounded by impossible circumstances, if you are exhausted, afraid, or about to give up, this is your sign. God has not forgotten you. He is still intervening right now in ways you cannot even imagine. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for your good. Do not surrender. Do not believe the lie that you are alone. Every time you feel doubt or fear, return here and write, "God fights for me. The enemy cannot win." Every comment, every declaration, every testimony is a weapon in your hand. Let this moment be a public stand of faith. Don't be a silent witness to your own miracles. Share it. Type it. Flood the comments with victory. Let the world and the enemy see that you belong to the God who intervenes. Clear signs you are being prepared for victory. Have you ever felt like you were in a season of waiting, like something big was about to happen, but you couldn't see how or when? Maybe life has felt unpredictable lately. Plans fall apart, relationships shift, unexpected challenges appear from nowhere, and you wonder, is God even with me? Why does it seem like nothing is working out? What if I told you that everything you are going through right now is actually a sign? Clear evidence that heaven is preparing you for a victory so great, it will silence every voice that ever doubted you. Let me share something most people never realize. Before every major breakthrough, there is always a period of intense preparation. God never sends a blessing you're not ready to receive. Sometimes, that preparation feels like pressure. You lose things you thought you needed. Friends walk away, opportunities close, finances get tight, the road gets narrow. But listen, when God is preparing you for victory, He begins by stripping away everything that would keep you from your destiny. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The pain you feel now is proof that something glorious is coming. Heaven does not prepare the ordinary for the extraordinary without first refining them. Think about gold. Before it shines, it must be put through the fire. Only then can it reflect the light it was meant to carry. Here are the unmistakable signs you are being prepared for victory. You feel uncomfortable where you used to feel at home. Suddenly, what once satisfied you no longer does. God is stirring up your spirit because you are about to move to a higher level. Doors close unexpectedly. You may feel rejected or disappointed, but those closed doors are divine protection. God knows which rooms you no longer belong in. You face battles you never expected. Sometimes, the attacks intensify just before the breakthrough. The enemy knows your victory is near and tries one last time to discourage you. You have a sense of restlessness. Deep down, you know you are called for more, even if you don't know what it looks like yet. God starts removing distractions. People, habits, or patterns that held you back suddenly disappear from your life. If you recognize even one of these signs, I want you to pause, breathe, and realize you are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. But there is something vital you must do right now. Preparation without faith produces only frustration. You must agree with what heaven is doing. So right now, take a bold step of faith and type in the comments, "I see the signs. God is preparing me for victory." When you write this, you are declaring your trust in God's process, even when it's uncomfortable. You are saying, "Lord, I don't have to understand everything. I trust you." You are refusing to be defined by your struggle, and you are announcing to the world that your story is not over. Can you imagine how powerful this is? When you align your words with God's will, you set things in motion in the spiritual realm that cannot be stopped. Your declaration is a weapon. It shatters the enemy's accusations and invites angelic assistance into your situation. And don't stop there. Share a testimony, even if it's small. Did you notice a door close that hurt you, but you later saw it was for your good? Have you felt a supernatural peace in the middle of a storm? Type your story in the comments. Encourage others by showing that preparation is not the end, but the beginning of victory. Every time you declare your faith in the process, you draw closer to your breakthrough. Type again, "I see the signs. God is preparing me for victory." Let your words become the bridge to your blessing. God has not forgotten you. He is working behind the scenes, refining you, shaping you, and preparing a victory that will shock everyone who thought you were finished. Stay alert, stay faithful, stay expectant. Your preparation is almost over. Victory is at the door. The reason for your struggles. Until now, have you ever asked yourself, why have I faced so many battles? Why does my journey seem so much harder than everyone else's? It's a question that haunts many, especially when you see others advancing while you're still fighting just to survive. You wonder, is God angry with me? Am I being punished for something I did? Will this ever end? But what if I told you the real reason for your struggles is not because you're cursed, forgotten, or unloved, but because you are chosen? You see, the enemy only fights those who are a threat. Ordinary people with ordinary destinies don't attract much attention from darkness. But when you carry a calling, when you are marked by heaven for a special purpose, all hell will rise up to try to stop you. Your struggles are evidence that there is something extraordinary about your future. The greater your calling, the greater your warfare. It is not a sign of God's absence, but of His investment in you. Every tear, every disappointment, every setback is part of the preparation for the blessing you are about to receive. Think about it. The people who do the most for God's kingdom, who experience the greatest breakthroughs, always have the deepest scars. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into a pit before he became a ruler. David was hunted like an animal before he wore the crown. Job lost everything before God restored him double. What about you? Your story isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started. The enemy targeted you because he saw your potential long before you did. He tried to break your spirit, so you'd never realize who you really are. But every struggle has only made you stronger, more resilient, more compassionate, and more dependent on God. Right now, I want you to declare, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching and struggling just like you. Type in the comments, "My struggles prove that I am chosen. I am not giving up." This is how you break the silence the enemy tries to keep you in. Every time you type these words, you remind yourself and all who read that suffering is not the end, but the path to glory. You are not alone in your fight. Heaven sees every battle, every sleepless night, every silent prayer. And your struggles are not random. They are targeted. They are shaping you into the person who can receive, protect, and multiply the blessing God is about to release. If you're still breathing, if you're still fighting, it means your story isn't finished. God is still writing, still redeeming, still orchestrating a comeback that will shock everyone who ever doubted you. So don't keep your faith to yourself. Type it in the comments. My struggles prove that I am chosen. I am not giving up. Let your declaration echo in heaven, and let the enemy know he failed. Your pain is about to have a purpose. You will see why you had to fight so hard. Your reward will be greater than your struggle. Angels are already moving your blessings. Right now, in the invisible realm, there is a flurry of activity happening on your behalf. Even if you can't see it with your natural eyes, angels are already moving, carrying out assignments from heaven just for you. For every attack you've faced, for every door that slammed in your face, there were angels dispatched to make a way where there was no way. Many people underestimate how actively involved God's messengers are in their lives. But you need to know this: heaven is not silent about your situation. Whenever you pray, whenever you declare God's promises, whenever you choose faith instead of fear, angels are mobilized. They carry your prayers to the throne. They block the attacks of the enemy. They open new paths and orchestrate divine connections that you never could have arranged on your own. If you look back, you'll realize there were moments you survived disasters that should have destroyed you, sudden solutions that appeared at the last second, and a peace that made no sense in the middle of chaos. Those were not coincidences. That was angelic intervention. Scripture is full of moments when angels appeared to ordinary people in the middle of impossible situations, delivering messages, providing protection, opening prison doors. But most of the time, angels work in ways that are unseen, quietly shifting circumstances and influencing events in your favor. Even now, as you listen to this message, the spiritual world is moving. Your blessing is already being transported to you by heavenly hands. There are times when your answer seems delayed, and you start to wonder if God has forgotten you. But the delay is not denial. It is often spiritual warfare. Just like Daniel in the Bible, whose answer was held up by opposition in the spiritual realm, your prayers are being fought for right now. Angels are battling for your breakthrough, for your healing, for your financial release, for the unity of your family. I want you to realize how personal this is. Your name is being spoken in the courts of heaven. Your address is known. Your tears have been counted. And your blessing is being moved toward you this very moment. But faith is the currency of heaven. If you want to accelerate what God is doing, you need to participate, not just as a silent observer, but as a co-laborer with heaven. Right now, make a declaration that will activate the angels assigned to your life. Type in the comments, "I believe angels are moving my blessings now." Every time you declare it, you release more activity, more favor, more miracles. And don't stop with just a declaration. Testify. Share in the comments one moment in your life when something happened that could only have been God's intervention. Maybe it was a near accident, a healed illness, an unexpected provision, or a divine connection. Every testimony is a seed for a new miracle. If you feel a heaviness, a delay, or discouragement, know that it is often a sign that your blessing is closer than ever. Don't let the enemy silence you now. This is your moment to agree with heaven and invite the supernatural into your situation. Type it again. "I believe angels are moving my blessings now." Flood the comments with faith. Let your voice be heard not just by the world, but by heaven itself. As you do, expect to see sudden shifts, divine surprises, and miracles that make no sense to the natural mind. Your angels are not idle. They are on assignment, and your faith is what releases their power. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Heaven is moving. Are you ready to receive the new house that is coming your way? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're standing in front of a door you've never opened before. You reach out, your hand trembling with anticipation. And as the door swings wide, you realize this is your new beginning. This is the home you've dreamed of, prayed for, waited on for so long. The air feels different. Hope fills the rooms. Peace settles in every corner. This is not just a building. It is a sign that God has heard your prayers and is answering them in a way you never expected. For years, you may have felt stuck, trapped in old cycles, limited by your resources, surrounded by walls that whispered, "You'll never get out of here." But God is a God of new beginning, and He specializes in transforming the impossible. He is not limited by your credit score, your past, your age, or your circumstances. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and when He says it's time to move, not even the forces of hell can stop it. Maybe you've seen others get blessed and wondered, when is it my turn? Maybe you've watched as people moved forward while you remained behind. But I am here to declare, your season of waiting is over. The Lord is preparing a new house for you, a place of peace, safety, and abundance. Don't let your mind talk you out of what God wants to do. He is a master at making a way where there is no way. He can shift your story in a single moment, unlocking doors that have been shut for decades. He can bring divine connections, favor with lenders, unexpected inheritances, and supernatural provision. He can turn rejection into redirection and lack into overflow. This new house represents more than just physical shelter. It is a spiritual statement, a testimony to everyone who ever doubted you, everyone who ever said you were finished, that God is not done writing your story. It is a place where your family will be restored, where your health will improve, where your mind will be at peace, and your joy will return. But here's the secret. This promise is released to those who dare to believe, who choose to agree with heaven, even when their circumstances say otherwise. Right now, I want you to take a bold step of faith. Type in the comments, "My new house is on its way. I receive it by faith." Don't keep this to yourself. Declare it over your life, over your children, over your future. Speak it until every doubt is silenced and every fear is driven out. And if you have a dream, maybe you've pictured the color of the walls, the view from the window, the laughter that will fill the kitchen, describe it in the comments. Give God the details of your faith. Every time you write or speak your vision, you partner with the Creator to bring it into reality. There will be people who say it's impossible, but remember, the God who parted the Red Sea, who raised the dead, who multiplied the widow's oil, He is the same God who is working on your behalf today. Don't allow the enemy to rob you of your expectation. Don't let discouragement close your mouth. Write it now. My new house is on its way. I receive it by faith. Let your declaration be the foundation for your miracle. Let your faith build the walls of your blessing. Soon, you will have a testimony that will inspire everyone who hears your story. Your address is about to change. Your season is about to shift. Your new house is closer than you think. The car of your dreams is on the way. Can you imagine what it would feel like to hold the keys to the car you have always dreamed of? No more anxiety at the mechanic, no more fear of breaking down, no more embarrassment over what you drive. Imagine stepping outside, and instead of seeing limitation, you see proof that God cares about every detail of your life, even the dreams you thought were too small or too big to mention. There are people who will tell you, God doesn't care about material things, but I am here to tell you the truth. When something matters to you, it matters to God. He is the God who numbers the hairs on your head. He is the God who provided manna in the wilderness, who filled nets with fish, who multiplied what little people had and turned it into more than enough. If He can care for the sparrows, how much more will He care for His own children? For years, you might have settled. You've tried to be grateful, even as you struggled with inconvenience and frustration. But God is not asking you to settle for survival. He is inviting you into abundance. He wants to upgrade your life, not for the sake of vanity, but to prove that His favor is real and His promises are true. Maybe you've watched others receive miracle cars, supernatural upgrades, and thought, when is it my turn? Maybe you've even tried to silence your own desires, thinking, maybe this isn't for me. But I am here to declare, this is your season of supernatural provision. God knows the exact make, model, color, and year that will bring you joy. He knows your needs, reliable transportation for your family, safety for your loved ones, the ability to go wherever He calls you to go. He knows your secret wishes, the feeling of freedom, the joy of something new, the testimony that will shock your friends and family. And here is the mystery. Blessings are released when you believe and boldly declare what God is doing. Heaven moves when you speak in faith, not when you settle in silence. So right now, I want you to do something that many are too afraid to do. Type in the comments, my new car is on the way. God is my provider. And if you know exactly what you want, write it down. Put it out there for heaven and earth to see. Declare the color, the features, the year, and watch as your faith partners with God's power. This isn't about materialism. This is about living as a testimony that God's goodness touches every part of your life. The world needs to see believers who are not ashamed to believe for the impossible. If you have a testimony, if God ever provided you with a car, fixed something you couldn't afford, or got you through a tough season, share it in the comments. Every story becomes a seed for someone else's miracle. Flood the comments with faith. My new car is on the way. God is my provider. Let the enemy see that you refuse to settle for less than God's best. Let the world see that you belong to a God who delights in blessing His children, not just with spiritual gifts, but with the resources and tools needed for a life of victory and purpose. Get ready. The same God who gave you breath is about to give you the keys. Miracles happen for those who dare to expect them. Your testimony is on its way. Your car is closer than you think. Don't stop declaring. Keep writing. Keep speaking. Keep believing until you see it with your own eyes. The promise of a restored life. There is a promise over your life that is bigger than any loss, disappointment, or setback you have ever faced. God never intended for you to just survive. He has always planned for you to live fully restored, to experience what it means to walk in true wholeness. Restoration is not just about getting back what you lost. It's about God giving you back more than what the enemy ever stole. Maybe you've walked through seasons where you felt broken beyond repair. Maybe you lost relationships, finances, dreams, or even your hope for the future. Perhaps you felt like a shadow of who you used to be, watching as years went by and it seemed like nothing was ever going to change. But let me tell you, God is the master of restoration. He specializes in turning ruins into something more beautiful than before. The Bible is filled with stories of men and women who thought their best days were behind them, only to discover that God was just getting started. He restored Job with double after unspeakable loss. He restored Joseph from prison to palace. He brought Naomi out of bitterness and gave her a legacy. This same God is writing your restoration story right now. Restoration means your joy is coming back. Your dignity is being returned. Broken family relationships are being mended. Health is being renewed. Peace is being restored in your mind and heart. Doors that seemed forever closed are swinging open with divine favor. The shame and regret of the past are being washed away, replaced by a testimony so powerful it will silence every critic and doubter. But restoration does not happen by accident. It is released when you believe, speak, and act in faith. Right now, I want you to do something bold. Type in the comments, my life will be restored. God's promise is greater than my pain. Every time you declare this, you align yourself with the will of heaven and open the door for miracle. Your words are seeds that will bring a harvest of healing and breakthrough. If you have already seen God restore even a small part of your life, share it in the comments as a testimony. Encourage someone who is still waiting, still fighting, still hoping. Your story can become the spark of faith for another miracle. And if you are still in the middle of the struggle, don't lose hope. The process of restoration often feels like breaking before building, pruning before growth. God is not punishing you. He is preparing you for something far greater than what you lost. He promises in His word, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Restoration is personal. It's unique to your journey, your pain, your dreams. Trust that God knows exactly what you need, and His timing is perfect. Right now, take a stand of faith. Declare it again. My life will be restored. God's promise is greater than my pain. Let the enemy see that you will not settle for a life of loss. Let the world see the power of a restored life lived for God's glory. Get ready for laughter to fill your house again, for new opportunities to find you, for your story to shift from defeat to victory. Restoration is on the way. Your life is about to be a testimony that nothing is impossible for those who believe. Testimonies from those who have already received the impossible. If you're still wondering whether miracles truly happen, let me assure you, God is still in the business of doing the impossible. Throughout history, and even right now, people just like you have experienced supernatural turnarounds, doors opening that were forever shut, debts erased overnight, prodigal children coming home, broken marriages restored, and dreams revived from the ashes. These are not just stories from ancient times. These are happening today in the lives of people who dared to believe, to pray, and to declare God's promises out loud. Let me share just a few examples that will stir your faith. There was a woman who lost everything in a house fire. Insurance refused to pay, and friends turned their backs. She had no hope until she decided to stand on God's promise of restoration. She began to write every day, "God is my restorer. My new house is on its way." Weeks later, out of nowhere, a local charity picked her story from hundreds of applicants and built her a brand new home, fully furnished and paid in full. She said, "The day I started declaring it was the day everything began to shift." A man in his 70s had driven the same car for 25 years. Old, broken, always in the shop. Every day he prayed, "Lord, I believe you can do the impossible." Friends said he was too old to dream about a new car, but he kept speaking it, writing it, believing it. Out of nowhere, a family member he hadn't seen in decades called him, saying God had put it on his heart to bless him. 2 weeks later, he drove a brand new car off the lot, fully paid, no debt. He wrote in the comments, "My age was never an obstacle for God's miracle." A single mother with mountains of debt and a tiny apartment started declaring, "My financial miracle is coming. My new house is on the way." It sounded crazy, but she believed. One day, her landlord sold the building, and she had 30 days to move. She cried out to God in desperation. The very next day, a friend told her about an affordable house for sale. The bank approved her instantly for a loan, despite her credit. She moved into her new home within a month, and her testimony has inspired hundreds online. These are not isolated incidents. These are just a few among thousands. Every testimony is proof that what God did for one, He can do for you. But notice what these people had in common. They didn't just wish for a miracle. They spoke it, wrote it, shared it, and declared it in faith, even when it made no sense. Your testimony could be next. You are not too old, too broken, too late, or too far gone for a miracle. God's power is not limited by your age, your past, your resources, or your circumstances. He is only waiting for your faith to speak louder than your fear. So here's what I want you to do right now. Type in the comments, "If God did it for them, He can do it for me." Let this be your declaration today. And if you already have a testimony, no matter how big or small, share it. Your story is a seed that can unlock someone else's miracle. Don't keep what God has done for you a secret. Let the world see that the God of the impossible is alive and active. If you're still waiting for your miracle, don't be silent. Type your prayer, your dream, your need in the comments. This community of faith is here to agree with you, to stand with you, to believe with you. Every prayer, Every testimony, every word of faith is creating an atmosphere for miracles right here, right now. Don't hold back. Type it now. If God did it for them, He can do it for me. Your testimony is coming. The impossible is about to become your reality. If you are listening to this message and thinking, can this really happen for someone like me? Is it too late for my story to change? I want you to know that you are not alone in that question. Many who are now living in their miracle once felt forgotten, overlooked, or even disqualified by their own past. But let me remind you, God delights in shocking the world by lifting up the least likely, the forgotten, and the written off. Consider this. A man named Charles, in his late 60s, had spent years in a tiny rented room after losing his home to foreclosure. He struggled with shame and regret, convinced that he would never recover. Yet, he stumbled on a message just like this one and decided, almost in desperation, to write in the comments, "I believe my new home is coming." He didn't know what would happen, but within weeks, an old friend he hadn't spoken to in years reached out and offered him a chance to move into a beautiful guest house, rent-free, as long as he needed. Charles says, "It was like God opened a door that didn't exist before. My dignity was restored overnight." Or take Evelyn, a widow in her 70s, who had never owned a new car in her life. Her old sedan would break down constantly, leaving her anxious and stranded. She started writing every day in her prayer journal, and in the comments of videos like this, "My new car is coming. God is faithful." Months went by, but she didn't stop declaring. Then, one Sunday after church, the congregation surprised her with the keys to a brand new vehicle, donated and paid for by a group of people who said they felt led by God to bless her. Evelyn's joy became a testimony to her entire community. There's John, a retired veteran, who carried the weight of medical debt and disappointment. After years of waiting, praying, and sometimes doubting, he began to boldly comment, "Debt cancellation is mine. God is my provider." He kept speaking it, even when bills piled up. One morning, a letter arrived saying that a large portion of his debt had been forgiven due to a clerical review and a charitable foundation stepping in. He shared his testimony online, saying, "Faith looks crazy until it works." Another story comes from an older couple, Marjorie and Ted, who had seen their family split apart by arguments and bitterness. They watched their children move to different states, and for years, holidays were filled with pain and empty seats. Yet, as they watched a message of restoration, they decided to declare, "God is restoring our family," in the comments and in prayer, every single day. Within months, one child after another began reaching out. Apologies flowed, visits were arranged, and their last Thanksgiving saw all their children and grandchildren together under one roof. For the first time in 2 decades, tears flowed, laughter returned, and Marjorie said, "God's promise brought our family back. Don't miss this." Testimonies aren't just encouragement, they are prophetic seeds. When you read these stories, you are not just hearing about someone else's miracle. You are being invited to receive your own. The same God who worked for Charles, Evelyn, John, Marjorie, and Ted is the God who knows your name, your needs, and your heart. Every time you type your faith into the comments, every time you share your story or declare your dream, you are sowing seeds in the spiritual realm. You may feel invisible to people, but you are never invisible to God. Right now, I want you to flood the comments with your faith and your testimony, no matter how big or small. Have you received a financial miracle, a restored relationship, a new opportunity, or unexpected provision? Type your testimony now. If you're still waiting, type, "I am next in line for my miracle." And for those who think their story is too ordinary or too broken to be redeemed, remember, God specializes in the impossible. Even if you feel like nothing good has happened yet, the very act of sharing your hope is powerful. Speak life over your future. Write your expectation. Let your words become the atmosphere where miracles are born. If you are reading the comments and see a testimony that stirs your faith, reply with, If God did it for you, He can do it for me. Let this community become a wave of faith, a chorus of agreement, and a field of harvest where the impossible becomes possible every day. Don't hold back. Don't wait until the miracle is complete. Testify as you wait, as you hope, as you pray. Your breakthrough is often one declaration away. Type now, "I am next in line for my miracle. If God did it for them, He can do it for me. My testimony is coming." Let your voice join the thousand, declaring that nothing is impossible for God. Let every line written be a brick in the foundation of your own testimony, your name, your prayer, your story. God sees it all, and the world is about to see the impossible happen in your life. What to do to not lose this blessing? Receiving a blessing is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new level of responsibility and faith. Throughout history, countless people have received miracles, only to lose them soon after, because they did not know how to protect, nurture, and honor what God had given. The enemy's strategy is not only to prevent you from receiving your breakthrough, but also to steal it once it arrives. That is why it is so important that you know what to do so you don't lose what God is releasing into your life. First, understand this: every blessing will be tested. After you receive a miracle, whether it's a new home, a car, healing, financial breakthrough, or restored relationship, the enemy will often try to sow doubt, fear, or conflict to shake your confidence. Don't be surprised if challenges arise. Don't let your faith drop just because things get uncomfortable. Hold on tightly to what God gave you, and don't let the enemy talk you out of your testimony. Second, stay connected to the source. Your miracle did not come from luck, hard work alone, or someone else's favor. It came from the hand of God. Continue to pray, to give thanks, to worship, and to keep your relationship with God alive and strong. Don't drift back into old patterns of fear, worry, or complaining. The same faith that opened the door is the faith that keeps it open. Third, keep testifying. When you share your testimony, you not only reinforce your own faith, but you create an atmosphere for continued miracles. Testimonies build spiritual momentum. Every time you tell others what God has done, you drive the enemy further away and attract even more blessing. So, even if you have shared your story before, share it again. Let your house, your car, your healing, or your restored family become a living altar of praise. Fourth, bless others with what you've received. Miracles are not meant to be hoarded. They are seeds for more harvest. If you receive a financial breakthrough, bless someone in need. If you get a new car, offer a ride to a friend or neighbor. If your family is restored, pray for someone else's family. Generosity multiplies miracles and keeps you in the flow of God's provision. Fifth, stay humble and grateful. Pride can close doors just as quickly as faith opens them. Remember that every good thing in your life is a gift, not a right. Gratitude protects your heart from entitlement and keeps you positioned for even greater blessing. Now, as an act of faith and accountability, I want you to type in the comments, "I will protect my blessing. I will stay grateful and faithful." And if you've already received a miracle, write how you are protecting it. If you're still waiting, write what you will do when it arrives. Let the world and the enemy know you are not a one-time wonder. You are a faithful steward of every blessing God gives. Your miracle will not be wasted. It will multiply, it will inspire, and it will glorify God. Every comment you write is a declaration to heaven and a warning to hell. My blessing will not be lost. My testimony will continue. Protect what God has given you. Value it, share it, honor it, and watch as even greater miracles begin to flow. You have come this far, not by accident, but by divine appointment. You have heard promises, felt conviction, remembered battles, and seen with the eyes of faith what God is ready to do in your life. Now, it is time to take the most important step, to proclaim your victory and become a vessel of blessing for others. The Bible teaches us that life and death are in the power of the tongue. What you declare over your life, your family, your finances, your health, your future, it matters. This is not just a feel-good moment. This is a holy moment, an intersection between heaven's promise and your obedience. You are not called to be a silent believer, but a voice of victory, a trumpet of faith, a carrier of miracles for your generation. Right now, I want you to stop and do something bold. Type in the comments, "I proclaim my victory. My testimony will bless many lives." Don't whisper it. Shout it with your heart. Make the invisible world hear you. Let every angel and every demon know where you stand, on the side of victory, of faith, of relentless expectation for all that God has promised. But your proclamation does not stop here. The true measure of a miracle is not just in receiving, it is in sharing. There are people in your family, in your church, on your street, or even just scrolling on YouTube right now, who need hope. They are desperate for a sign that God still sees, still hears, still works wonders. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video right now. Send it to friends, family, groups, anywhere and everywhere that people need a breakthrough. Your share may be the reason someone else finds their miracle. Write in the comments who you are sharing this message with and what you are believing for them. Let's create a chain reaction of faith, a tidal wave of testimonies that will flood the earth with the goodness and glory of God. This is your moment to step into a new season, a season where your victories are public, your blessings are multiplied, your faith is contagious, and your legacy is secure. The heaven that judged you has now released you, forgiven you, and crowned you with favor. Declare it one more time. I proclaim my victory. My testimony will bless many lives. I am a miracle in motion, and I will not be silent. Thank you for staying until the end. If you have not yet subscribed, do it now so you never miss a prophetic word. Let's flood the comments, the likes, and the shares with faith, gratitude, and expectation for what God will do next. If this message touched you, don't just receive, release. Share it so that your miracle becomes the seed for 1,000 more. Your victory is here. Your new house, your new car, your restored life, your breakthrough. It's already been judged in heaven and released on earth. Now go, proclaim, and never stop sharing your story. This is just the beginning. Right now, as you reach the end of this message, I want you to realize this is not the end, but a wholly new beginning. What you have just received is more than encouragement. It is a prophetic release over your destiny. Heaven has spoken, your name has been called, and the verdict over your life is blessing, restoration, and breakthrough. You are not leaving this video empty-handed. A shift has taken place in the spirit. The battles you have faced, the tears you have shed, the questions you have carried, God has seen it all, and He is turning it into a testimony that will outlive you. Do not doubt what you have received today. Hold on to this word with everything you have. Speak it, write it, share it, declare it every single day. Let this prophetic message be the foundation for the miracle that are now being released into your life. If your heart is burning, if you feel hope rising where there was only despair, if you sense that God is truly moving, type in the comment, "Something new is happening in my life. I will never be the same." Remember, the enemy's last weapon is always to convince you to walk away just before the breakthrough. Don't fall for that lie. Stay planted, stay connected, and keep returning to this word whenever doubt tries to return. If you haven't yet, subscribe now and turn on notification, not just for more videos, but so you can be part of a family of faith that stands with you, prays for you, and celebrates every victory together. Share this video right now. Let your social media become a river of hope, miracles, and testimonies. Send this to your children, to your friends, to anyone who needs to know that heaven has not forgotten them. If you have a specific prayer request or dream you are believing for, write it in the comments. This community is here to stand in agreement with you. You are not alone. Your miracle is our miracle. Your testimony is our celebration. Now, I speak this blessing over you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you peace. May you see doors open, debts canceled, health restored, families united, and dreams fulfilled. May you walk in favor, protection, and unshakable hope all the days of your life. What heaven has released, no power on earth can block. You are forgiven. You are chosen. You are blessed. Declare it one more time. Heaven has judged me blessed. My miracle is here. Thank you for being part of this prophetic moment. Come back and testify as the miracles unfold. The best is yet to come.